Corey writes, I was wondering how you would feel about Kevin Feige directing one of the MCU movies. I know that this will never happen, and I know he has only ever produced, but I think if actors like Chris Evans can make the transition to direct, a producer like Feige can make that transition too.
Well, look, anybody can direct. Anybody can run a marathon. But can you do it well? That's the question. Look, a director, like, why actors I think can transition really well to trying out directing sometimes, and it doesn't always work out all that great, is that they are hands-on working with directors day in, day out. And for me, myself personally, I've always said that I believe the number one priority, the first responsibility of a director is to get the best performance out of the actors that they can, to get the performance that they need out of the actors. That's the first priority. And so when you're an actor and you're working with the director on that kind of an intimate level for a dozen films, 24 films, then I can totally understand that at some point you're like, I want to try telling the story now and all that kind of stuff. With Kevin Feige, he also clearly works very closely with directors, but on another level. So can he step behind the camera and direct? Sure, anybody can stand behind the camera and direct, but can you do it well? Look, my whole philosophy on this is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Kevin Feige is doing a masterful job guiding the overall arc of the cinematic universe for Marvel and picking directors he knows whose flavor tells the story of each individual film that he pairs them with the best. That is a formula that is working. Why would he want to step out of that and try to do something else? So honestly, look, if they announced Thor 4, it was going to be directed by Kevin Feige, I'd be like, okay, sure, yeah. But would I want them to do that? Nah, not myself. Schnepp, what do you think?
Yeah, and also, I mean, Kevin Feige, I would be worried about the rest of the Marvel cinematic universe because he'd be concentrating only on Thor 4.
Yes.
Day in, day out. You have to have your shot list. You got to get up at 4 in the morning. You're on set before anyone else. You're the last person to leave the set if you're the director, especially with these kinds of films. It's like you get to sleep 4 to 5 hours if you're lucky. That's not going to be Feige if he's running all the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, planning phase 6, 7, and 8, helping cast all these movies. So his job as a producer is all-encompassing already, and he's overseeing all of the directors and writers and other producers of all of these films. So to wonder if he even wants to direct a film, I would guess he doesn't want to direct it. By the way, this is an all-mail bag show. I don't know if anybody guessed that. Just throwing that out there. People are like, did we just miss something? They're like clicking on the thing. I saw they were joking about Bernitas, and now it's mailbag. That's right. It's all mailbag.
Kevin Feige's directing Thor 4. Put it online.
I don't understand what's happening. They were talking about George Lucas. Yeah.
I would be very surprised, and I would not be thrilled if it was announced that Kevin Feige was doing Thor 4 for the reasons that Schnepp just mentioned. Is that, like, you want this guy, he is directing right now, he's directing the MCU, so why have him focus on one thing? But you would have to bring in somebody else making creative decisions. We just saw Marvel, and they had a split between Kevin Feige and whoever else he was working under, and it's like, he doesn't want to work with him, so Kevin Feige has all this power now. Why would he want to give any of that to somebody else while he's off directing a movie? Plus, you don't want to have somebody with their first film out of the gate be an MCU movie. You, like Chris Evans did direct, but he directed a small romantic kind of movie. It wasn't like a huge blockbuster or anything like that. So if Kevin Feige was going to direct something, you'd think it'd be a smaller passion project as opposed to a huge comic book flick. But I like where Kevin Feige is, and I think you can make the transition from being an actor or producer into being a director, but the technical side of it is something I just don't know if Kevin Feige has any wherewithal in that world. Like, if he knows which angles to use or which cameras to use or any of that stuff. You can hire a great cinematographer, which is what Angelina Jolie did, but at some point it's going to come down to you being the director, and I don't think he wants that responsibility for an individual film right now.
One of my favorite experiences of last year was when I had the chance to actually go and be the moderator for the Avengers Age of Ultron panel. And at that thing, I had a chance to get together with Kevin Feige and hang out with him for a bit and talk to him. And when he arrived, he looked like, because this goes, yeah, you nailed it. You nailed the 100% key to all of this, is that when he showed up, like, he came into the room, he said, man, sorry, I'm late. I said, no problem. You look frazzled. And he did. He goes, man, you have no idea what my day's been like already. I just literally 5 seconds before I walked in this room, give final approval on the final Ant-Man trailer. Before that, I was on a 5-way Skype call with some Civil War stuff. And then right before that, I was dealing with Black Panther issues. And before that, I was doing that. And he gave me this huge, all that he had done before 11 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
How can this guy focus all of his attention on one movie for 6 months or 8 months or however long. I think you just nailed the 100% thing on that.
First of all, that job sounds awesome though. Like,
Yes, it
like I have
does
some
sound
pretty cool
awesome.
jobs in my life. That's pretty sweet. When you're like, oh yeah, I just had to deal with Ant-Man and Civil War and Black Panther. My day has been hell. Like, that's a cool morning.
Yeah, that's right.